good evening to a few of you. Welcome to today's community briefing. My name is Gregory Sneed, and today is the 5th of May, or May 5th, or some might say Cinco de Mayo. Anybody doing margaritas or tequila shots yet? It's still too early, right? Okay, good. So today we have a guest. His name is Alan Frelix. Did I pronounce that correctly?
You did.
Okay, fantastic. So he's going to be joining us and sharing with us some very good information for the community. I have my own business. Name of my company is Lifesaver Financial Services, where I help my clients keep more of the money they make, because I believe that when you feel better about your money, you feel better about your life. My business is in three segments, if you will: life insurance, financial coaching, and financial literacy. In fact, I'm now dusting off some old PowerPoints that were designed for in-person seminars. Remember those? It's been a long. How long has it been? Like almost 3.5, 3 years, right? It's in-person seminars. But now we're all doing things by Zoom. So changing them to be a little bit more engaging and more color and pop and pizzazz and what have you. So stay tuned. I'll be having some nice courses coming out. And now, without further delay, my pleasure to introduce the queen of our community briefing, Miss Crystal Mitchell.
Welcome and glad to have you guys. Hope you all can hear me. Thank you for coming out to the community briefing. And my name is Crystal Mitchell, and I am the co-director of Recycling Black Dollars, as well as I also have my own business, and it's called Mitchell Business Solutions. I provide accounting, bookkeeping, business consulting, coaching for our small business community. This platform was created so that you would have a platform to come out and meet the leaders and the stakeholders in our community, and to ask them questions, to know them by face, and to hopefully help you grow your business. So we want to thank you guys for coming. This is your network. This is your platform to network. The platform is sponsored and powered by Recycling Black Dollars and the BBA, the Black Business Association, but it's our platform. So please, let's share it. Continue to bring people in, and hopefully you guys are meeting and learning some great things about what's going on in our community. Got a powerful team: Mr. Greg Sneed, myself, Mr. Stephen Turner, and Miss Robin Billups. And she's not here today. Much prayer for Robin, where she's still working on her health. So she's at the City of Hope today. So let's continue to send prayers. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to Greg. Oh, one thing, guys, we are right smack in the middle of getting ready to vote. So we need you to vote, 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 vote. Your voice matters. If anyone was tuned into social media yesterday, with what the Supreme Court is in the process of doing, our votes matter. Women's votes matter, men votes matters, and most certainly Black folks' votes matter. So with that, I'm gonna turn it back over to Greg.
All right, all right. So welcome back. And today our guest is Alan Frelix. And Alan is the Chief Executive Officer at the Closing Exchange and CXChoice, or as Closing Choice?
CXChoice.
Yeah, CXChoice. Okay. And he has 25 years of experience in a wide range of functions. He's been CEO since May of 2017. So I guess it's your 5-year anniversary on Cinco de Mayo. How about that, huh? So he offers signing and support services to the mortgage and reverse mortgage, auto, and structured settlement industries, provided by a trusted notary network. And he has a passion in helping to improve the signing experience. And it's the next generation of signing and business services. Before that, he was with Next Turn Partners, LLC. He was managing partner. Oh, he's still there. So that's June of 2015. So that's your anniversary is coming up next month on that one. And it's a boutique consulting, business development, investment firm focused on growth-oriented, small to mid-sized companies. Works with clients as advisors, consultants, and to help partners to incubate and execute innovative ideas and deliver sustainable results. Let's see, he was with
You
Stewart
make me
Title.
sound so much better than I am.
That's okay. That's all right. That's what we do. That's what we do. He was with Stewart Title, Managing Director of Strategic Development. He's with Bank of America before as a title and closing executive and president of Land Safe Services LLC. He was also a strategy and business operations executive. He was with Next Turn Capital. He was president of the Frelix Group, Countrywide Financial, managing director, strategic planning, Parsons Group Consulting, management systems consulting. He is a graduate of the University of California, Los Angeles, with a
Santa Barbara, actually.
huh?
I went to Santa Barbara, UC Santa Barbara.
Okay. The LinkedIn says UC Los Angeles. So, that's no, you were finance and budget manager there. Okay, that's you got a lot of jobs, man. Let's see, education, USC, MBA, and UC Santa Barbara, and he went to Palisades High School. So I imagine you were born and raised here in Los Angeles area, yes?
Raised, not born.
Not born. Okay, where were you born?
Battle Creek, Michigan.
Wow. Yeah, exactly. Well, without further delay, please welcome to the virtual stage, Mr. Alan Frelix.
Hey, everybody. Good to meet y'all. Yeah, I've had too many jobs, it sounds like.
Like the guy from In Living Color, man. He got 10
Right.
jobs.
Many jobs, man.
So, Alan, just, share what it is you do, how you help the community, how you help businesses grow, and share with us what you want us to find out.
Sure. So I'll tell you a little bit about the closing exchange first. There's a lot of words in there, but what we really do is we provide a panel of mobile notaries across the country. So we've got 83,000 notaries that we work with across the United States. Typically, we're going to send them out to people's homes or businesses or Starbucks, whatever it may be. So whenever you need a document notarized, as opposed to going to a UPS store or trying to hunt somebody down through what we used to call the yellow pages, you can reach out to us and we can send somebody out to you. They're vetted, so they go through background check. We have a performance rating on them, so you know which ones are good, which ones are not. And then we also provide in other states, not as much in California, notaries who can do this online, similar to what we're doing here, where you can actually see them across a screen, and you can be signing your documents electronically, and they'll notarize your documents electronically as well. So that's legal in 39 states today. And there's some legislation out there that might allow that to happen across all states that we're waiting on. So that's the core of the business we do today. It's primarily a B2B company. Most of our clients are going to be mortgage lenders, title and settlement companies. We also do business with small business lenders. We've got some wealth management companies. So you name it. If you've got a legal contract of any sort that needs to be notarized, then that's what our business does. The Next Turn entity that I run is a company that's it's a combination of a holding company. So we make investments. So the closing exchange was created through the acquisition of two different companies that we together. So we work with private equity companies, venture capital, less so commercial lenders who typically are working more so with kind of non-traditional lenders. But we also help executives who are in corporate America who are interested in making that leap to be entrepreneurial. So as you heard from my background, I've had stints in corporate America, but I keep coming back to this entrepreneurial world where my passion is. But that's a difficult decision for a lot of people to make when they're executives, because the money gets, perks get good, and it's difficult to think about taking that risk. Well, we can help you to make that transition, because there are ways to do that while you're still working and still identify companies that you can acquire. One of the things that I'm really passionate about is we have all these big companies that have government contracts that have to do business with minority communities, but they actually will say from their point of view that they have a difficult time finding sizable minority-owned companies to fulfill their needs. Well, why not identify what their needs and then go out and buy a quote unquote traditional company and turn it into a minority owned company. And now you're satisfying everybody's needs. So there's capital out there to do these things. And so we can help companies to do those things. Additionally, there are a number of small businesses that are ready for that next level, where, you've been doing, the 8A programs, you've been doing, just that hustle that we've all been experienced in the past. But what happens when you want to get to that next level where you want to expand your business? Maybe you want to acquire some other businesses to create scale. Well, we can help with that too. So again, a lot of people don't think about this, but there are literally billions of private equity dollars that are sitting out there, we call it dry powder, that are waiting for strong managers to come in so they can make investments in those businesses. So we can help to tap into those markets and get behind that veil of mystery. And then, I know we're all used to going to, the banks and community, CDFIs and things like that. But when you get to a sizable enough company, there's also revenue-based loans. My company, the Closing Exchange, for example, we were growing so rapidly that we couldn't keep up with the pace. We were just burning cash flow and building technology. And so we needed a jolt of capital. So we found a company that does a revenue-based loan. So it's a loan that they give you. It's not cheap, but it's cheaper than giving more equity in your company away. And basically what they do is they say your payments will be based upon the revenue that you generate every month. So if your revenue goes up, then your payment goes up. If your revenue goes down, your payment goes down based upon the percentage of that loan that you're going to pay. So there are a number of different ways that you can tap into different types of capital. And that's part of what the Next Turn entity is about. It's about, providing exposure to leaders, primarily people who held senior manager or executive positions in corporate America who want to make that transition into entrepreneurship.
All right, I'm putting some stuff in the chat there. Caught me off guard. Ended kind of quick. Okay, so a couple of questions. Let's see. And those of you who have questions for Mr. Frelix, please put them in the chat. Let's see. Do you also provide assistance to people to get signature guarantee on documents if needed?
Signature guarantee. I'm not sure what you mean by that, but give me a little more detail on that.
It's basically a notary on steroids. It's generally issued by financial institutions. So it's a higher form of documentation where the signer is guaranteeing that if some, I wouldn't say fraud, but if something happened, they're guaranteeing that we actually do know this individual.
Yeah, we've never done those, but if it's something that a notary can do, then absolutely we can facilitate that.
It's not something a notary does. So there's some documents where you need something called a signature guarantee, and it's getting tougher and tougher to find. Bank.
I would love to learn more. So that'd be something maybe we should be doing. So I'd love to learn more.
Branch offices used to do that, and it's needed a lot of times for financial transactions. So it's getting tougher and tougher to do that because bank, you'd have to go to usually the branch manager, and they would come out and they actually have a physical, stamp. It's got colors on it and goes on the document. So,
no, see, give me some new information. I love it.
Let's see. Are the numbers of notaries, either in our local area or across the country, are they increasing, decreasing, remaining flat? What's that look like?
It was actually decreasing prior to the pandemic. And you saw in the pandemic, a number of people got out of the business that were in it because they were afraid of getting exposed going into people's homes. But we're actually seeing more people who are actually getting their notary public specifically for these remote online notarizations where they can stay in their home and just do notarizations online. So I'd say overall it's come down, but you're starting to see more specific increases within the remote online notarization space.
So revenue-based loans, how does that differ from receivables factoring?
Great question. So Receivables factoring, you're typically going to be handing over your receivables to this other company who's going to service them for you. And in my case, for example, I didn't want to go down that path because it presented a different image of my company than I wanted. So I wanted to stay from a position of power. So the revenue-based loan is based upon your history, but also your forecast. And so you're presenting basically a business plan to them, and they buy into your forecast. Think of it kind of as venture capital, where they're investing in the future of your business, but they're not going to take equity in your business. So they're not taking ownership. It's a debt facility that acts kind of like they own part of your company, but they actually don't own any of your company. So you're not diluting yourself.
Someone wants to become a notary. What's that process? And are a lot of notaries doing it full time, part time? Supplement to a 9 to 5. How does that work?
Yeah, so I'll answer the last part first. Yeah, most people do it part-time, but there are a number of people that do it full-time, and they can make up to 100 grand or more per year doing that. If they're really good at what they do, they contract with companies like mine. There are probably another 5 or 6 across the country that do business at scale. So you can actually make pretty good money there. I actually introduced a former church member of mine to the business, and she's doing it now, left her job and just said, this is what I'm doing, and making pretty good money at it. So the process typically is going to be, you ultimately have to get your commission from the state, but you have to take a training course typically to pass that exam. I would recommend that you go through the National Notary Association for that. They have a whole program. Basically, if you go through that program, you're almost guaranteed to pass that exam. They also have ongoing continuing education courses as well.
And let's see here. We'll go. I'll get to that one in a minute, Crystal. Crystal has one on the loans, but we'll exhaust the notary piece, and then so now there's been changes in notary fees, or is there kind of some standardization in the way fees are? And I know at one point in time, rewinding maybe about 15 years ago during the real estate craze, everybody was buying property and notaries were making like crazy amounts of money. I heard stories of $500, $600, $700 a day, $1,000 a day, but I think there's been some regulation or some curtailment on that. Can you speak to that?
Yeah, so the states typically will regulate what a notary can charge per notarization. So that's typically, I forget what it is in California, but it's typically $15, $20, $25 per notarization, depending on the state. What we do though is we offer them the opportunity to facilitate a signing. So in addition to that notarization fee, they're getting paid for facilitation of the signing. So, your typical notary, if you go into, what do we call those places? UPS store or one of those mail express stores or something like that, they're going to charge you just that $15 or whatever it is. We pay notaries on average between $50 to $75 to go out, because they're actually doing more than just the stamp and the ID verification. So they're going through documents and explaining documents. They can't discuss rate, loan terms and things like that, because that's unpracticed law. But what they can do is they can say, well, this is your deed of trust, this is your mortgage, this is your note, and it contains this kind of information. So they actually get paid more for doing what they do through us than they would do just a typical notarization. And to your point, the average notary that works with us, that's the ones we use most of the time, they're going to do about 6, maybe 7 signings a day. So you take that 50 times that, and you can make some pretty good money at that business.
And do they also, or do you guys charge travel fees? Obviously, if somebody's in an urban area, there's lots of people around, but if they live out in pardon the expression, the sticks, then nearest notary might be 100 miles away or something like that.
Yeah, typically, our contracts with our clients are going to be at a standardized rate. But if it's something like, we've had somebody who had to take a seaplane to an island in Alaska, and there was one plane that went there and one plane that went back. And if they missed the plane, they had to spend the night. So we had to actually pay for them to fly. They weren't going to be able to get back for the flights. We had to pay for them to get a hotel. And so we just increased that travel. We had people that had to go over bridges, they're paying tolls, and they negotiate that on a per order with us.
Cool. Does anybody have any more questions on notary? Otherwise, I think we're going to go to Crystal's question.
I'm surprised nobody's asked me, like, what are the funniest notary stories?
Okay.
I got a bunch, but I won't take your time.
Well, give us one. Give us one since you went out there. Give us one funny notary story.
We got a complaint from a client once. This is when I was at Bank of America. We got a complaint from a client that the notary showed up in a clown suit.
Oh, wow.
And they did, because we contacted the notary. We said, what's going on? They said, well, that's my day job. I'm a clown by day.
His middle name was Bozo, right?
Yeah, and I wanted to know what kind of car he was driving.
No, pink one. Crystal, you had a question on the revenue-based loans.
I do, and I was actually a notary back in my insurance days, and it was really just an added skill set. Never thought of it being a business, and at that time, I just signed all the documents in the office. The office paid for, but at that time, the notary test was an open book test. It was no way you could fail it. And so you did the open book and you got your notary license. But on the revenue-based loans, what businesses qualify for that, and what would be the cost of that to them?
So they're usually looking. It was created primarily for technology companies that needed to make a bunch of investment in their technology. They needed to grow their staff, and they needed to build their sales and marketing teams, pretty quickly to really get the benefit of those investments. So they're typically looking at fast-growing companies, technology-based companies, not necessarily technology companies. So, for example, my company, we spend a lot of dollars on technology, but our core business is still a service, and so the technology is what really attracted them to us. They're not typically like true startups, but they're startups to a point where they've actually built something that's real. They have some sort of a customer base, but they're not really taking off. They're not profitable. Most of the companies they invest in are not yet profitable, but they can see the future horizon of what that profitability is going to be. So they're looking for high growth, scalable businesses. So not typically going to be for a company that's focused in a certain area or in a region. These are things where they think they can go national or international pretty quickly. But again, I think for a lot of our businesses, we sometimes think a little too myopically about what we can be. And if we start to expand our minds a little bit more, there is capital to do it with.
Yeah, that seems like definitely but I think that it has to be some coaching on the front end for them to recognize that they could be a high yield business, because most of them are very myopic about it. But I do think that's awesome, especially if you have a product that you need to make sure that you can reach capacity, because a lot of times that's a problem, right?
Yep.
So what is the interest rates on that?
So it's not technically done as an interest rate, but I will tell you, the relative rate is going to be somewhere between 25 to 35%. So if you think about, you got your commercial loans, then you have your kind of mezzanine debt structures, then you have your pure equity investments. It's going to fit somewhere between that mezzanine debt and that private equity or equity investment, where they're expecting rates of returns of 35 to 50%. So these loans are going to fall somewhere in between there.
Like a revenue shark, huh?
Yes, I mean it's a great business to be in, but it's very risky.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah, exactly.
And
Exactly.
would that be on a monthly payment, or is that on overall?
Overall, over the term, and the term is negotiable. So like for our case, I think our term is something like 6 years is our term. But what they do is they structure it so that each there's for a period of time, usually it's like, I think ours was the first year, it was 2.5% of our revenue is what we paid. And then the next year it jumps up to 3% of your revenue, and so on until you get to the point where you're paying back the total amount.
Oh, well, that actually could be, depending on your business, that actually could be a good way to go, especially
Yeah.
for a quasi startup business.
Yeah. It was great for us because it was the capital we needed with relatively low payments while we were growing. You know, as we continue to grow, obviously that's a bigger nut to crack for us each month from a cash flow perspective. But the theory is that you grow so big that it's not that big of a deal in relative terms.
Yeah, I kind of like that. If long as you know exactly what you're going to use that money for and how it's
Yeah.
going to increase your revenue base, and making sure that you're conscious of the terms on
Yep.
the longevity of what that is, so that you can get out quick. It's a
You
fast
have to be crystal clear on what you're signing up for.
right.
Pardon the
Absolutely.
pun, right? Crystal clear.
Awesome, awesome. Yeah, because that's a big issue for startups or semi startups. Banks don't normally loan to them. Are uh the requirements the same? I mean, far as what documentation and what do you need in order to apply for that type of loan?
A commercial loan, because it is still sort of a venture play for them. So they are looking for a business plan. It's not necessarily going to be your 40-page business plan, you know, from chapter A to Z. It could be a PowerPoint presentation. It could be, you know, some combination of that plus interviews. They're going to want to interview. They're going to want to come out and see your operation. They're going to want to, you know, evaluate your competition to see what's out there. And then the actual paperwork, it's a document, but it's not necessarily like a traditional loan document where you've got pages after pages after pages. And then there's an amortization table that lists the different percentages you're going to pay. So I mean, I think altogether you're talking about a process that takes anywhere from 1 to 3 months to get through it. And you know, it's relatively pain free. I mean, it wouldn't seem that way given the stakes, but it's relatively pain free. I think you know, you have to have done the work in advance for them to really be interested anyway. So by the time they show interest, you've pretty much done everything that they needed to know that you're a capable company to actually meet their needs.
Oh, okay. And is there only one company that does this, or is there multiple?
There are multiple. It's a relatively new niche. So when we were looking, we spoke to 3 different companies that do this. You know, if you do a Google search and just look for revenue-based loans, they'll typically pop up. But you're not going to see a ton of them out there.
Oh, okay. Awesome. Renee, you had a question? You're on mute.
She might be on mute.
You're on mute, and we can't see your lips.
So there's no chance.
You're still on mute. There you
I'm
go.
waiting for Renee. I
My
have a question for
question
Alan.
is, do you do a business overseas? Do you do loans overseas for projects overseas?
So we don't do loans that are initiated overseas, but with the remote online notarizations, we often actually do the notarizations with people who are overseas. So we've done, you know, folks in Panama, China, Eastern Europe, you know, Southeast Asia, where people who have properties here, but they're traveling or they're living internationally, need to get documents signed and notarized.
Okay.
I like that. You guys were thinking big and global. That's how we should be looking at business, big and global, not just domestically.
That's right.
Anyone else have any other
I have a
questions?
question. Alan, Steven, I don't know if you remember me.
Yes, I do.
For full disclosure, I've been knowing Alan since about 10 years old.
Literally.
So with your document signing, and we have lenders on the line, like Richard Pollard, what is the impediment? Why California cannot have electronic document signing notarization like other states?
Great question. I wish I knew the answer for why they're not doing it. But I speak a lot with the National Notary Association, and they've been lobbying to make that happen. Their thought is that the state is trying to figure out how it can retain its revenue base from notaries. So, they're collecting funds for commissions, and it really shouldn't change anything, but they have some concern that if they approve it, then the notary California base won't get the business anymore, because you have, notaries that can be in Texas and Virginia and other states who can do notarizations across the country. But California is the one state that's saying, no, we're not going to allow for that. I think there's a way to do it. Texas has a way, for example, where you have to be a Texas-based notary to do them. So I think California could come up with a very similar law for that. So I'm not quite sure what they're waiting on, other than they might be waiting on this national initiative that's in Congress to see how that's going to shape. And then I think when that starts to pick up momentum, California will actually step up and say, no, here's the way we want to do it, because they're going to want to try to do it themselves first. But there's no really good reason other than it's dollars and cents.
California, and there's pros and cons of it, but California is notorious for being very vigorous in looking to protect consumers. It's also very vigorous in looking to protect small business owners. So it's slow to make changes. I know that in the insurance world, California is the very last state to approve a product. And often they have to make modifications to those products. So they're very protectionist, if you will. So that, in a nutshell, from an overall standpoint, you guys will find doing business with the state of California to be challenging because of a lot of that, lack of a better term, protectionist.
This is my last question, so I pass it back over to Crystal and Greg. You and I had a conversation how your company compares with the DocuSign and DocLoops of the world. I know there's a distinction, but there's also an overlap. Again, how does that work?
So there's two ways to look at it. There are the document preparation companies. So DocLoop would be more one of those where they're actually creating documents for use. And then there are companies that have technology to get documents signed. So I would draw the line there between the two of them. Now, DocuSign is vertically integrated, so it does a little bit more than that as well. DocuSign, for example, is a partner of ours. So we work with them and we supply notaries to them when they have companies that want to use DocuSign for remote online notarizations. We also use the DocuSign technology ourselves to get electronically signed documents done when we can do that in the different states. DocLoop is, where they'll create the documents, and then a lot of our clients who actually use those documents that are created out of DocLoop to actually get signed through us. So a little bit of a differentiation. For us, I like to say we're kind of like Switzerland. We just want to be in the middle of all of this. All the change towards digital is good for us, because at the end of the day, you still need somebody to notarize a document. And what form that's going to take place, if it's in person, if it's online, our specialty is in identifying the right people, training them and vetting them and making sure that they show up and do a great job. And if they screw something up, then we make sure that we get it fixed for our clients.
Getting paid on both sides is wonderful.
That's it.
Can you talk to us a bit about Next Turn Partners, what services you provide and how those services can be a benefit to our listeners?
Yeah, so Next Turn, again, as I said, is really designed to be a holding company, to make investments in companies, to help to identify funds for companies, but also to be a consulting service for executives who want to make the transition into entrepreneurship. That's really our two core focuses. By design, the closing exchange was supposed to be one of the first in our portfolio of companies that we own, and it's taken a lot longer to get it to where I wanted it to be than I expected. It's taken a lot more of my personal time to get it done. But the idea was with Next Turn, we'd have, very similar to a private equity company, we'd have a portfolio of companies at different stages of development where we may be, completely invested. We may have helped them to start it. We might actually step in and provide consulting in exchange for equity. But we'd have companies that are different stages, and with the expectation that those companies would grow and eventually go public or sell their companies or get I'm trying to do right, recapture of funds so that we can get liquidity out of those investments.
What type of
You
businesses?
no, I'm sorry, go ahead, Crystal.
What type of business? Would you guys be looking at?
Doesn't matter. I'm looking for great managers because those are the people who make businesses successful. I don't really care what the industry is. I would say if we had a sweet spot, it's going to be a service business that can utilize technology to grow and scale. But really, I've had the experience in my consulting days of working with companies that I never would have thought made a bunch of money. I mean, I had a client that was making, over $500 million just distributing nuts and bolts. Who knew? So, I mean, you can make money in so many different ways. And so I'm agnostic to the business. It's all about the right management and the right opportunities.
Warren Buffett says if people need it every day, that's the business you need to invest in.
That's it.
I'm sorry, Greg, you had
You actually had my question. You and I were tracking on the same mind. That was exactly my question.
Right. So yeah, that's Warren Buffett's motto, that investing in toilet paper and gum is gonna be here for a lifetime. So nuts and bolts is a good business. Well, Alan, that's awesome. Are you looking for new notaries or adding to your team, or?
We're always looking for new notaries who are really passionate and professional. And if they're interested, they can go to our production website, which is www.CXChoice.com, and they can register there in the chat so people can see that. But yeah, we're always interested in finding folks. And if any of you know folks that want to learn the business, I'm happy to be a resource for them on that as well.
And would this be their own business? Is it kind of like a franchise type of thing, or because if they're
all independent contractors.
Oh, I have someone that I'm actually coaching right now, that she's been doing notary and she's looking to expand her business, and we talked about that being the core, because she's moving from the real estate industry into the notary, because real estate industry is so.
Yeah, send her my way, and I've got some folks on my team here who can kind of guide her and coach her on what it takes to be successful. Some of our staff are actually notaries too, so they know what it's like to be out there.
Okay,
I have someone as well to refer, family member, in fact.
Okay, that is fantastic.
Alan, how can we in the Black business community be a resource to you?
It's a great question. I think honestly, the biggest thing is just doing this. For me, it's just, I've been, kind of bogged away in the corporate world for so long and focusing on building my business. I enjoy just being amongst our folks and just talking about business. So I say for me, what would help me best is just being more exposed again. I've just been my head in the sand, focused on growing my business for so long. I haven't had a chance to do it. So as far as the closing exchange is concerned, it's just that if you know people who really want to be notaries and they're serious about it, refer them and we'll get them set up. As far as Next Turn is concerned, you all know people who are sitting in corporate America who are making other people a bunch of money doing what they do. If they've got that entrepreneurial itch, I'd love to talk to them. And I'm not looking to make money off of that from the start. I mean, obviously I'd like to long term, but I just want to be a resource for people. I've had the privilege of, sitting in boardrooms of Fortune 100 companies and, helping make strategic decisions for these companies as well. And it's my time to give back.
Okay, awesome. Can you put your contact information in the chat. I'd like to talk to you about a couple things
Sure.
from the organizations that I work with, but I also have clients that are in their second act, um, and have worked, pretty extensively in the corporate world, but now it's a big transition from being an executive and having everything at your fingertips to being a entrepreneur with
Yes, it
nothing
is.
at your fingertips.
Yes, it is.
And a lot of times you learn so much from that corporate world, which is your, like I call it, your PhD program, but it is different um, mindset to be an entrepreneur because you got to think more expansively and you got to think on your own,
And you got
right?
to do on your own
And you got
most
to
of the
do
time
on your
too.
own. So definitely, I have a lot of clients that are in their second act and
You,
struggling.
when you mentioned that, when I first started off, I remember I got a space as one of those Regis business centers and got my little, 50 square foot office that we were sharing space. And there was a brother there who had been in business himself for about 9 years. And I just asked him, I said, well, how did you do it? And he said, you just do what you do. And I was like, well, what do you mean? You just do what you do. And he said, well, in corporate America, what did you do? And I started explaining the job that I did. And he said, no. That's not what I'm asking you. What did you do? And I said, well, I solve problems. I fix things. He said, do that for yourself. If you solve problems and you fix things for yourself, you won't ever have to go back to work for somebody else again.
Exactly.
And he said it, and it was simple but profound. And to this day, when I have those moments where I'm starting to get flustered and confused, I always refer back to that conversation, and it calms me. So I think for a lot of the folks you're talking about in their second act, even with that PhD, that's book knowledge. That's not street knowledge.
That's not street knowledge. It's
Right?
different.
Yep.
And as a corporate, as in the corporate world, you get a check every 10 days.
Right.
You don't get a check every 10
And
days.
you don't got to worry about paying other people
Right,
either,
exactly.
and
You
them
gotta
feeding their
hustle.
families.
So yeah,
I'm
that
in
right
Act
there.
4.
I think a lot of us are in Act 4.
Act 4, about to go into Act 5.
Yeah, keep it going. You don't want to stop. That's better than the alternative for sure.
True that. True that. Alan, you have been a wealth of information, as Stephen and Greg had alluded to earlier. Thank you so much. And you are right. Solving someone's problem and you got the solution. That is the key to doing business, to being an entrepreneur.
Yeah, thanks everybody. I appreciate this.
Yeah, and please feel free to come back at any time. I got another platform called the Business Zone. If you want more exposure there, we can get you that. So contact there. So we got a few more minutes, guys. If you guys, we have a smaller grouping people today, so I'm going to ask you guys to give us a quick little brief 30-second commercial on your business and anything that you have coming up that you want the community to know about. And so the floor is yours, Mr. Roger Tinsley. What you got going on?
Hello. Thank you. Welcome. So I'm Roger Tinsley, AKA known as the Danger Man. I have an entertainment and an education company. The Danger Man superhero brand is the only Black owned and operated superhero brand in the world. Okay. And so we're doing some amazing things, and it's good to be here. I come here every Thursday and hear the updates and what's happening. So thank you very much, Crystal.
You are so welcome. Roger, I want you to speak to my kids this summer. So I'm going
Okay.
to send you the information. I
Awesome.
do an activity on what's your superpower. So,
Oh, wow.
that would be perfect on that day.
Okay,
All
great.
right, thank you. Miss Renee.
Hi, I'm at a hospital. That's why I'm all covered up here.
Okay.
But I'm not sick.
Okay.
I work with ERC. We're specialists in tax returns. I'm not tax return, employee tax credits. And that's through or with people who've had difficulty during COVID. if they've lost employees, if they've lost revenues, if they've lost their vehicles to get supplies that they need for their business, if they've had partial closures, we help with that. And the IRS is paying up to $26,000 per employee. And what I do is I help people determine whether or not they're eligible for this money. And there have been new changes in the laws, and more businesses are qualifying in 2022. So if you have W-2 employees that could take advantage, or you could take advantage of it, or if you have people who know that need this kind of help that were really hurt during COVID, or even hurt a little bit, even if they made revenue, there's still a lot of stimulus money. It's $3 billion that they're working with to give out to help people that have that. So that's what I do. I put my information in the chat, my phone number and email address. So please reach out, and I'd love to help. And Alex, I'd like to talk to you about having some community. I work with a lot of community organizations and introducing your program to them.
Happy to do it. Any relation to Danny?
My cousin.
All right.
I was wondering if you're gonna catch that.
I'm in Detroit right now. I got a lot of cousins here too.
Okay.
You said you were in Michigan. You're from Battle Creek.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I've
Well,
known
anyway,
Steven since I was 10. I've known Danny since I was about 12.
we're going to invite him to our family reunion. Okay, but does anybody have W-2 employees here on this line that could help or need this kind of help, use this kind of help? Nobody had trouble during COVID. You know somebody that needs it. So think of me when you do, and I'll be more than happy to lend my expertise in trying to qualify them.
All right. Thank you, Renee. Michelle Bell.
Hello, everyone. Glad to be here. Thank you, Krista.
You're welcome.
Michelle Moorbell. I'm celebrating 40 years in the beauty, hair care, and wellness industry. Yay. So, thank you. I'm the founding president of the Wellness Group, and we are preparing for our 21st annual breast health awareness event this year. We hope to have something in July where we can concentrate on clinical trials. And in October, we will have our annual breast health awareness event. It is a free event. I did put the website in the chat, so check out the Wellness Group's new website and give me your opinion about it. So thank you.
All righty, we will most definitely do that, Michelle. At Yolande, or I don't know if I pronounced that right, and apologize if I didn't.
That's all right, Crystal. Good morning. If you want to say it in French, it's Yolande. If you want to say it in English, it's Yolande. And if you want to say it in Spanish, it's Yolanda.
Okay.
Or all the students just call me Miss Yo. So the choice is yours.
Okay.
Thank you for having me. I'm the executive director of the Knowledge Shop, which is a nonprofit based in South Central Los Angeles. We provide programs for children from the age of 3 all the way to 18, because as we know in this country, our Black and Latino children are struggling to be fully educated in some of the areas that Alan talked about: STEAM, science, technology, reading, engineering, arts, math, and music. So we try to ensure that our children graduate proficiently, highly, and have the potential to go into any of those careers and to Ivy League or historical Black colleges. I'm also the board president of NAPI, the National Association of African American Parents and Youth, which is a bit of a cliche because I'm not African American, but I am a Black woman of the diaspora. And I wanted to bring some of that international flavor in how we think as Black parents in this country. And so that's a new organization that's growing. We have 103 members. And so I'm going to be talking to Emma, who is from SBA, about how she can help us grow and develop these organizations. And Renee, my elder, has been on my case to make sure I get that W-2 to her to get some of this extra money. We've invested, Alan, most of our money ourselves, because I think when you're Black in this country and around the world, you get sick of talking to banks and funders. So guess what? I'm lucky that I have a husband who has 5 streams of income. So I pull from one of those to set up my own organizations. But I certainly want to talk to you about how we grow them, because, you know, as Black from the diaspora, we have to invest in each other, because we can't wait on anybody else to do it, right?
Right.
So I'm very interested in how you help us to ensure that happens, right? And Emma's, you know, got the finger on the pulse with SBA, who have so much money. We've all got to go and let her teach us how to get it, right, Emma?
Trying to.
All right, thank you, Crystal.
Okay, Miss Yo, I would like to. I have kids. I have a business camp that I'm going to be doing in July, and we're looking for kids. So put your contact information in the chat. So we.
So we do camps too, so we can cross fertilize. Definitely. Good. This is our 7th year. I put my website and everything in the chat already for you.
Okay, I'll reach out to you.
Thank you.
Miss Vovecki. Take yourself off mute.
Hi, everyone. It's good to see you guys again. I'm Bianca Vovecki, President of Vovecki Enterprises. Hi, Yolanda. It's good to see you. We're a construction company. We're 16 years old, and we support the construction industry, because a lot of the construction going on in LA is union, and we're not. So we've developed a lot of services that support the construction industry, as in material purchasing, staffing projects, and also nationwide trucking. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Richard Palais. And Richard, since you're representing the Asian community, I know this is National Asian Month, so congratulations and best wishes during this month.
Thank you so very much. And if let's see, Tuesday I was at AAPI LA Day. Look at some of your news channels where they were filming us and news articles, and you'll notice that her brother was standing right behind the mayor. So, you know, representing, right, the only one in the whole group. But hey, it's all good. That's what I'm here to do. I'm here to put us on the map, okay? I am Richard Palais. Thank you so much, Crystal, for the greeting. Greg, great to see you. And of course, Stephen, always. I'm the Executive Vice President of National Asian American Coalition. She is reaching across the aisle, saying we need to reach all communities of color. We define our communities as unreached and hardly reached communities. And I say that we're a financial wraparound services organization. What does that mean? I put in the chat that we're not only a certified development financial institution, an SBA micro lender, but we're also an approved HUD counseling agency. So we can help you with credit. We can help you with your other technical assistance needs as a small business. We can provide capital to you. It's all about collaboration, education, and elevating our minority communities across the entire state of California. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. Thanks.
All righty. Thank you. Miss Emma.
Hi there. Good morning, everyone. This news is just right off the press. If you have COVID idle funds, they will be exhausted imminently. So that means it's going to be gone. If you have received requests to get your funding papers back, please do it immediately and definitely before May 16th. If you have been told that you will be funded, get your information in there. Otherwise, you may not get what you are expecting. And the portal will soon be non-accessible by May 16th. So please go into your portal. If you have information in it, make copies of everything that is there. And this just came out today, so that's the reason I'm expressing. Please get your information into them as soon as possible. And if the funds are gone, please don't be mad at me. I've been telling you guys to do this.
Let's go see her personally.
I keep telling you guys to do this. The other thing is we're partnering with Chase and SBA. We're having a couple of workshops starting on the 11th of May. And then we also have one on the 18th of May. There are two from 9:30 to 12:30 at Chase Bank on the corner of Vernon and Crenshaw. I will send the flyers to you. And if you want to go, send me an email to register. The first one is going to be next Wednesday, 9:30 to 12:30. And Chase is partnering with us. Financial literacy is the subject matter for both. So if you can participate, that would be great. And one more thing, I know it's quick. Thank you guys that participated on Saturday at our youth entrepreneurial workshop. It was phenomenal. And the young people were amazing. We do this every year. Thank you, Crystal, for being one of the ones that helped tutor the kids and prepare them for this event. And anyone else that's done this, we really need you to continue this effort. And had you been there, you would have been amazed and very proud of what our young people are doing. So thank you again for participating. Get your information in for the EIDL loan if you're ready to be funded. I can't stress that enough. And if you want to be part of the workshop, send me an email and I can get you guys on the list. Thank you.
Thank you, Emma. Hey, Emma, I think I saw something that the application had to be in by tomorrow, the 6th.
Yes. Well,
Yeah. The
the
portal closes on the 16th.
The
Yeah.
portal closed on the 16th. Yesterday was the last day that you can request an increase. It's not sure that you're going to get it. By the way, if you go into your portal today, there will be some information in there, and you may not be able to move that bar to say how much you want, because that's how it's. We're at the bottom. We're at the end. Trust me. We thought it would be longer. So if you got your funding, God bless you. If you have been told that you will be funded, get your loan paper or get your documents in immediately. Everything should be over at the end of the month.
I keep going to the altar looking for idle forgiveness, but it hasn't come yet.
No idle forgiveness. You will pay that loan back for the next 30 years.
I keep praying.
The question is, are they getting it and using it to increase their revenue? That's the question.
It can work for you. That's all I can tell you.
Yeah, I know. Lee Kearns, are you there?
Oh yeah, this is Lee. I actually work with Emma. I would just put down that I'll put into the chat. There's a way for those of you who have already obtained your EIDL loan for you to check the balance as you start making payments. You have access to that information. So I'll put that in the chat. We have an 8A Hub Zone workshop coming up because just like you said, we need to keep pushing forward and see what's available for us. And I'm also helping out on the Community Navigators program. So the Los Angeles Urban League has a series of workshops coming up, and I'll put that link in the chat as well.
Yeah, I'm teaching 2 of those.
Thank you, Lee.
I'm teaching 2 of those classes, and cash flow and bookkeeping competency. And Gilbert Buchanan is teaching about procurement capability statements. I think he had a class last night. He's awesome when it comes to that procurement space, and that's the first certification place. So you guys go over to the Urban League and sign up. There are classes for this entire month of May and June. Stephen, I'm coming right back to you. Andrea, and then Veronica and Brenda. And then we, before we do those guys, our guest next week is Mr. Butch Grimes. He is has a new nonprofit called Who's Gonna Take Care of Me, and it addresses dementia and Alzheimer's. Butch is a major advocate for the AARP and the Alzheimer's Association, and he's also a realtor out there that's doing lots of things. So tune in next week. So Andrea.
Good afternoon, everybody. Let me just first say Happy Mother's Day to all the mothers on the line today. Happy Father's Day as well. Mother's Day and Father's Day is every day in my book, and you should be celebrated every day. My name's Andrea James. I know a couple of people on the line, Roger, Greg, Michelle, Renee Tabor. I don't know if Danny Tabor is your husband or your brother, but I know Danny Tabor.
Cousin.
And just to be on the phone today, I am today's entrepreneur. I'm the CEO of Today's Entrepreneur, which is a Black-owned company that supports Blacks in business in all industries globally. And I gladly do that because we need to support each other in business more so now than ever. We are the original trendsetters that walk this earth. And when we put our minds behind something, it takes off. And so I'm glad to do what it is that I do. And I also am involved with another company, which I don't own it, but I have a big part in it, which is franchising. I show Black businesses how we can franchise. We don't have one national Black franchise company yet. However, this year in 2022, we will have that, and it will go national, if not globally. And it's possible that that Black-owned company is going to come from the West Coast.
Awesome. Thank you.
Also, one of the things I'd like to, also education. I'm also what you call a problem solver, linchpin for youth, foster care, homeless vets, wherever God leads me, I'm there. So my door is open. And I have a podcast on Tuesdays called Today's Entrepreneur. However, currently I'm on hiatus. But when I come back, I'm coming back with gangbusters. But one of the things I'd like to know today is how do you pick your guest to come on? Because I do have some phenomenal guests that I can highly recommend. And one of them was Dr. Sherry Henderson, who is the creator of the franchise enterprise. A Black woman out of Detroit, Michigan. She learned from McDonald, Francorp company, and then she learned from the white boys. No offense to anybody who took McDonald's International and so forth and so on. And now she has her own company, Franchise Enterprise, and she's changing the face of how we do business and the fact that we can leave legacies generational deep to the point that we will not be burned down this time, and we will not perish because of a lack of knowledge.
Well, okay.
So we can keep families together through education, economic empowerment, and know that God continues to be the head of our house and our companies.
Awesome.
Thank you.
So you can reach out to myself or Stephen Turner. I think Stephen just jumped off the line, and we can have a conversation with you about how we choose our guests and get some information. If anyone has any
Fabulous. Thank you.
for guests that you would like to see on this platform, please let me know. And I also am always looking for guests for the Business Zone. Thank you, Andrea. Veronica.
Thank you.
We guys got a few minutes, so quick 30 seconds, please. Veronica, you there?
Veronica Elizabeth Spikner.
Yes.
How are you?
I'm good.
Okay.
And you?
You get your birthday card?
I did. Thank you so much. Thank you all for all of your well wishes for my birthday, which was on Sunday. I spent the time I gardened on Saturday, and I spent my time doing the Windsor Hills View Park gardening tour on Sunday. It was an awesome weekend. But I'm celebrating the whole month. Okay, Veronica.
My name is Veronica Elizabeth Spikner. I am the area ambassador for the LA South Chamber of Commerce, and I'm in travel. I'm mostly interested in the wonderful, lucrative opportunity in travel. And so my company have it where in your first 100 days, you get 50K. So that's what I'm working on. It's getting close. And so look out for it. Thank you.
Thank you. Barbara, you're our last person, and thank you very much.
Okay, you're welcome. Good afternoon, everyone. Barbara Wilson. I have 31 years in business and education, and I'm starting a new business called Resourceful Community and Home Medical and Education Services. I am selling medical CT scan products. The team that I'm on, we just did a major sale to the LA Rams, 3 portable CT scan machines. It's a new product that's out. Usually when a person has a whole body scan, it costs $3,000 to $4,000. Our portable machines are billable through Medicare if a person is in that age range. And I have a little niche that I've talked to Crystal about that I need some help with. I have a property that has a fantastic, beautiful backyard. The house is not rentable right now, but I'm looking for help if someone has expertise in the California film location industry. I need help in getting the backyard listed. So if you know anyone, please let Crystal know. She's helping me.
All righty.
Thank
Thank you. Thank you, Barbara. Thank you all for your birthday wishes. And thank you so much for tuning in. So come back next week, same back channel, back time. And we will be here waiting for you. Tell a friend. Please tell a friend. This show will be archived on YouTube on the Business Zones channel, Community Briefing channel, as well as on the Community Briefings website. So, Greg?
And please remember us and consider us for donations at communitybriefing.com. We do this out of our passion, but any small gift, $5, $10 would be helpful. And donations get you to the top of the list of being a guest. No, I'm kidding. But no, we would appreciate some support because we do have some minor expenses of keeping the website and what have you there. So that would be wonderful. And next week, Butch Grimes. And then also wish all of you a happy Mother's Day weekend and a happy Cinco de Mayo. Drive safe.
Yes, I
have some tequila and tacos.
Right.
Thank you.
Happy Mother's Day to all the moms. You guys are you are valuable to our community, to our society, to our children. So we honor you and uplift you in all that you do for us and for your own children. So guys, have a fantastic weekend. We'll see you guys later. Make sure you're telling everybody to read their voting booklet so that they can vote with the right consciousness today. It's important. And we will see you next week. And thank you for allowing us to go overtime. So have a great week, guys. Be safe. Oh, remember, we're not out of COVID. I know folks seem to think so. We are not. In fact, we're looking at a surge coming. I got my third shot yesterday. Yes, the ballot right there. So make sure if you're eligible, go get your third shot. And let's be safe, because I want to see all your faces every day forever. All right. Bye-bye, everyone.
Bye-bye. Happy Mother's Day, mothers.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
And aunties.